He was the kind of person everyone said they liked. The one who never made things difficult, never said no, never pushed back. The one people described as easy. Dependable, low maintenance, and somehow that sounded like a compliment. So he kept doing it, saying yes when he was tired. Yes when he didn't mean it. Yes even when something in him hesitated for a second and then disappeared. Because it felt safer that way, quieter. Like he could avoid something he didn't fully understand, and for a while it worked. People smiled at him, included him, relied on him, and he thought that meant something until he started noticing the small things. How no one really asked what he wanted, how decisions just moved past him, how he was always around but never actually chosen. And the strangest part was he couldn't explain when it started, only that the more he tried to be someone everyone liked, the more he became someone no one really saw. Because being easy to like had quietly made him easy to ignore. He didn't think much of it at first. It just felt like how things worked. Someone needed help. He said yes. Someone asked for his time. He adjusted. Someone changed the plan. He went along with it. It was automatic. Almost like there wasn't even a decision to make, just a quiet habit that kept everything smooth and in a strange way. It gave him a sense of control. Like as long as he stayed agreeable, nothing would fall apart, nothing would get tense. Nothing would turn into something uncomfortable, so he kept choosing that version of himself, the one who didn't mind. The one who didn't need much, the one who was always okay, even when he wasn't really sure if he was, and over time, it became harder to tell the difference whether he genuinely wanted to help, or if he just didn't know how to say no anymore, and every time he paused. Even for a second, there was that subtle pressure in the back of his mind telling him it was easier to just go. Along with it, easier to keep things light. Easier to stay the person everyone expected, because, at least that way, everything stayed quiet, even if something underneath it didn't. At some point, it stopped feeling simple. Not all at once, just in small moments he couldn't really point to, like when a conversation ended and he kept replaying it in his head, wondering why something felt off, or when he agreed to something again and immediately felt that quiet weight settle in his chest, the kind he couldn't explain. And the strange part was nothing was actually wrong on the surface. No one was being rude. No one was forcing him. Everything looked normal, and yet his mind wouldn't stay quiet anymore. It kept going back, analyzing, overthinking every small interaction, every word, every tone, trying to figure out why he felt so drained from things that were supposed to be simple. And he told himself it was nothing, that he was just tired, that he was thinking too much. So he tried to control it, tried to keep his emotions steady, tried to act like everything was still easy, still fine, still under control. But the more he tried to push it down, the more it followed him, showing up later in silence. In moments when he was alone, when there was nothing left to distract him from the feeling he didn't want to name, and slowly, without realizing it, saying yes stopped feeling like a choice and started feeling like something he couldn't escape. It didn't happen all at once. It showed up in ways that were easy to miss, like how people stopped asking and just assumed how plans were made. And his role in them was already decided before he even spoke. "How can you help?" slowly turned into, "You'll handle it," and he went along with it. Like he always did, but something about it felt different now. Heavier, like he was there, but not really included. Like his presence was expected, but not actually noticed, and the more it happened, the harder it was to ignore, because it wasn't just one moment. It was a pattern repeating itself in small, quiet ways, until it became normal, and that was the part that stayed with him, how easily he had become someone people relied on without ever really seeing. Someone who was always available, but somehow optional at the same time, and he started to feel it in moments that used to feel simple, a kind of distance he couldn't explain, like he was slowly disappearing from the way people saw him. And the strangest part was, nothing around him had really changed, just the way it felt, like something that used to make him feel connected was now the very thing making him invisible. It wasn't a big moment, nothing dramatic, nothing anyone else would have noticed, just something small, almost forgettable, like being in the room while everyone talked around him, plans shifting, decisions made, laughter moving past him, like he wasn't really part of it, and he did what he always did. Stayed quiet, nodded, went along with it, but this time something didn't sit right. Not in a loud way, just enough to make him pause, and for a second he saw it clearly. Not them, not what they were doing, but himself. How quickly he had stepped back without even thinking, how easily he had made space for everyone else, while slowly removing himself. And that was when it felt different, because it wasn't confusion anymore. It wasn't overthinking, it was recognition. A quiet realization that had probably been there for a long time, waiting for him to notice it, that nothing about this was random. Nothing about how people treated him was unexpected, because he had been showing them, over and over again, exactly how to see him, not by what he said, but by everything. He kept agreeing to everything he never questioned, everything he quietly gave away. And in that moment, it wasn't about blame. It wasn't even about regret. Just a strange kind of clarity, like something finally made sense in a way it hadn't. Before that, he hadn't been kind in the way he thought. He'd just been someone who was easy to replace. Nothing really changed the next day. Not in a way anyone else would notice. He still showed up, still listened, still moved through the same conversations and expectations, but something about it felt different now. Like there was a small distance between him and the version of himself he had been repeating for so long, and for the first time, he noticed it as it was happening. The moment right before he said yes, that brief pause he used to ignore, and it didn't feel uncomfortable the way it used to, just clear, like he could finally see the pattern instead of being inside it. And the strange part was, the overthinking wasn't as loud anymore, not because he tried to stop it, but because something underneath it had shifted. Like he didn't need to keep everything quiet just to feel okay, and he didn't have an answer yet. Didn't suddenly become someone different, but he understood something he hadn't before, that maybe the problem was never how much he was thinking or how hard he was trying to stay in control. Maybe it was the way he had learned to disappear just to be accepted. And once he saw that, even slightly, it was hard to unsee, like a quiet kind of clarity that didn't fix everything, but changed the way everything felt.